So if oh, good, thank you. We've got the recording started. If you don't want to be recorded in the meeting, we encourage you to just turn off your screen if that's the case. But if you have questions, you can use the chat. That'll also be captured. It's really, we want everybody to be aware because so this is a public meeting. If you have questions, you can either raise your hand or submit questions via the chat. We'll be monitoring that as well. And then if you can try and keep your microphone on mute, or if you have a quiet home, just remember as you're chewing or other things that we might be able to hear you. So we have some community agreements for our meetings. First is that we're going to stay engaged. We'll speak our truth, our own personal truths. And we're not going to try and fix each other, so no fixing, because some of the stuff that comes up may be awkward or uncomfortable or a growth opportunity, but we each are going to do our own growth there. So you don't need to fix anything unless I have tech troubles. I encourage you to help me fix those. With all this growth, we're going to experience some discomfort. It's natural. We're going to get used to that though. And we're also going to try and take risks. For some of us, that means asking questions or providing a suggestion or just asking for help. Or it may be that you volunteer to help in a project or participate in the community, that sort of thing. Recognize that for some of us, that feels like a big risk. We're going to listen to each other for understanding, and then we're going to expect and accept non-closure. These are community agreements. As we move forward, if you have suggestions for how we might adjust them, or if we should add something, if something comes up, please let us know. We're always seeking to get better and help improve and create an inclusive environment with the Latino Leadership Network. So today's agenda is we're starting with the welcome. That's where we're at right now. And then we're going to move into some introductions for the Latino Leadership Network's board. So we have, I am now the chair, moving up from co-chair, and so we have some changes and also some openings. And it's also a good chance to introduce the team to everybody to get to know us a bit better. We're going to also talk about briefly about how to talk to your supervisor about participating in LLN, whether that's coming to our general membership meetings or committee meetings, or maybe you want to volunteer and help with a project. We have a lot of opportunities to help. We're also going to talk a little bit about the different LLN committees and projects. In case you have an interest in joining one of those committees, or just coming and checking out what the meeting is about, or if you are maybe interested in stepping up and stepping into a leadership role and leading one of those committees. So we'll talk a bit about that, and then we'll go over Q&A, or questions and answers, and then we'll touch on some announcements of upcoming events and things around the corner. So I'm guessing that many of you know this, but there's always new folks coming into these meetings. So in case you're unaware, the Latino Leadership Network is a business resource group. And we are focused on supporting Latinos in state employment and allies to build a sense of community, to learn new things, and help us advance in our professions and step into leadership roles around the state. We have a vision of connecting and inspiring Washington State's Latino workforce and the leaders of today and tomorrow. And our mission is, through the power of connection, to invest, inspire, and serve. And I want to say, so words are important, and we recognize that we use the word Latino in our name, but that's really meant to encompass all different forms of identity, whether that's Latino or Hispanic, whether you identify as Latina, you use the term Latinx or Latine, maybe you identify as Chicano, we're using the term Latino as kind of umbrella term, recognizing though that Spanish is a gendered language, and that using that word brings a bit of underlying things with it, and we want to be clear, or I want to be clear that we seek to create an inclusive environment. I think a good sense of that is our recent event we did with Rain during Pride Month around gender and identity. And I want to say thank you to our panel members who spoke at that. If you were at the event, I was happy not to be on camera during a couple points of it because it was inspiring and emotional, and I will admit I had some ugly crying during the beginning of that. So again, our goal here is to create an inclusive environment. Okay, so now we are to the stage where we're going to do some introductions around the board. So our executive sponsor is Alfie Alvarado Ramos. And I apologize, I am pulling up the bio. Not everybody on our board is able to be here today. And so for some of these, we're going to be sharing the bio by me reading it to the group. Okay, so Alfie is our executive sponsor, and she is also the director of your Washington State Department of Veteran Affairs. The department is the statewide advocate for our veterans and their families, earned benefits and services. Alfie was born in Puerto Rico and retired from the U.S. Army as Command Sergeant Major after serving 22 years in the U.S. Army. And as director, she is a member of Governor Inslee's cabinet and chairs the Washington State Military Transition Council. In this capacity, her agency leads statewide efforts for the seamless transition of service members and their families to Washington State's communities. She is executive sponsor for the Latino Leadership Network and the Governor's Challenge Team to End Veteran Suicide. Alfie is a licensed nursing home administrator and alumni of Harvard University's Executives in Government program. She has awards that include the Army Legion of Merit, the YWCA Women of Distinction, Governor's Distinguished Management Leadership Award, and the Department of Veterans Affairs Secretary's Leadership Award. She lives in Olympia with her wife, San Juanita. There are 2 dogs, 10 chickens, and 3 ducks. I'll also tell you, the Secretary of State does a legacy. They do these really cool biographies for Washington State legacy and history, and they have done it's like a 25-page biography about Alfie. You can find it on their website. It's very good, and you'll learn a lot about Alfie and her time in service, and the what it was like for her to serve in a time of don't ask, don't tell. You'll get to learn about her as an outdoors person. She's an avid hiker, and her beat up bug, which she bought when she was young, she still has apparently. I'll tell you, I've been able to be in different meetings with Alfie, with Results Washington and the governor, and she's an inspiration in terms of the passion she brings and the service to veterans and our communities. And she's somebody that when you get to be in meetings with her, you're like, man, I'm glad she's leading this work, because she brings just such a passion to it. So yes, and she's a lot more fun to listen to than me describing her. So I hope you'll get a chance to meet her at one of our meetings or one of our projects. Oh, and Nancy also mentioned Alfie got to raise the 12's flag at a Seahawks game not too long ago. So that was pretty exciting too. Okay, so our past chair is Abby Chavez. We don't have a picture of her at the moment, but you've probably seen pictures of her previously. Abby will still be serving in terms of like a person that we can reach out to for advice, and which is good. She's described herself as the mom for Latino Leadership Network, whether that's needing to kind of get us in order or help give us advice and really direct us in which way to go. And she's still going to be available to us. And I'll say that I think Abby stepped in a couple times during times where we've had transition or gaps in leadership, and Abby was there to step in and really take the reins and lead the group in a way that I think has made it so that we still exist in the way that we do, and that we have participation at the levels we do. So yes. Okay. Hopefully soon I get to stop talking, because now it's my part of the bio. And then I'm going to turn it over to some of the members that are here and available. So I am Antonio Griego. I am now the chair of the Latino Leadership Network, and I've been serving on the board since, oh my gosh, 2018, when I showed up and they had a need, and so they let me stick around. I will tell you my goal, really one of my goals in terms of my career is to increase representation of Latinos in our workforce at all levels, not, to help make a path for young Latinos to get in the door with state service, but also to build up our members and give opportunities for growth, so that we can step into those leadership roles. Because I'm sure, as many of you know, there's a big difference depending on where you sit at the table sometimes, and to have Latinos in leadership will have a big downstream effect for the people that we serve and for our communities. And so my goal is that I'm a numbers person in some ways, and so for 13% of the state population, we should be 13% of the state workforce. We should be 13% of leadership, at least, with all those things. And so we're not there, or maybe halfway there. And so my goal is to get there, to get that equal representation, because it will change the way that state services are offered. It will change the way that our communities are treated. And that'll be a thing that doesn't just benefit Latinos, it'll benefit everybody in the state. And so that's my goal. And part of that is helping to build community in these groups, and look for opportunities to empower y'all to step in. My goal as chair is to help provide structure and support and direction. This is going to be a growth thing for myself, because I'm used to just stepping in and doing the work that way, and I have to learn how to let go and empower the team. So I appreciate this opportunity, and I will appreciate feedback and input moving forward too, because I think that's really important to all of us. Okay. Monica, are you in the building? Monica's been very busy today. Okay, so I'm going to read Monica's bio, and then next move it to Martha, and somebody else will get to talk for a bit. Thank you, everybody. I just feel like I talk too much in these. So Monica Andrade Hupp is a Department of Health project manager with a history of managing large hospital projects and events in healthcare and community settings. She is a 2020 graduate of California State University, Fullerton, with a bachelor's in sociology. She is passionate about project management and the profound social impact projects can have on communities, policies, and systemic change. An advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion for all people of color, Monica hopes to inspire others to do the same, beginning with her 4 children. Monica celebrates her heritage by sharing her grandparents' stories and making her grandmother's tortillas. Being a member of the Latino Leadership Network has been a wonderful experience for her, she says. I joined our LLN to preserve a connection to my culture after moving to Washington from California. But I gained so much more than that. Through the support of BRG, I have been welcomed to join the board as our events and conferences committee lead, engage in my passion for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and contribute to our collective professional growth goals. When I was notified I had been nominated for co-chair, I happily accepted. I see this as an opportunity to expand on the tremendous growth of our current leaders have cultivated and to do even more for LLN as we head towards the horizon of what comes next for us. It is an incredible honor to be the LLN co-chair, and you can count on me to continue looking for ways to enhance our LLN experience. Please reach out if you have suggestions for content you would like to see us provide in the future. So, and I will just say, number one, project management is a big area of opportunity with the state. And so to have somebody stepping in as a project manager like Monica is really exciting. I'm excited to hopefully meet Monica in person at our Hispanic Heritage Month in-person event in September. I think we may have a very big height disparity because I'm a little over 6.5 feet tall and Monica is apparently under 5 feet. So that'll be a fun picture to take when we all get together. So. Okay, now I get to turn it over to Marta and I get to stop talking for a minute. So Marta, you're up.
Thank you, Tony. My name is Marta Rana and I work for developmental disability within DSHS. I work as a public benefits specialist and I'm the treasurer for the Latino Leadership Network. I started attending LLN meetings. I believe it was 2018 when we used to have the in-person lunch and learns, and which I missed going in person and seeing people. But I started attending, every other month or whenever I was available to the lunch and learns, and I was really looking for that connection with other Latinos in the area, or just to network and just being able to be around more Latinos. But that's how I started. I got started with the Latino Leadership Network. My background, when Tony said that Abby is kind of the mom, the LLN mom, he's right, because when there was different positions open and Abby and I had a conversation, and she encouraged me to run for the treasurer. And with my banking background, I have a background in banking. I worked 6 years there. I also have a background in financial. So she talked to me and said, like, I will be a good fit for this position, and I decided to run for it. Being part of the LLN has given me more confidence, and I'm also more open now because I'm usually a shy person. But being here, being involved in different committees, it's helping me to get out of my comfort zone. So that's one of the benefits of being involved with LLN or any resource groups, because it helps you with your professional development. A little bit about my background again. I'm from Mexico. I was born in Michoacan, Mexico. I came to the US when I was 14. I have 4 kids and my husband. And what else? I graduated from St. Martin University in 2020 during the pandemic, which means I didn't have a ceremony that year. So when I came to the States and as a financial specialist, I wanted to move up to a leadership position or to, a different position. And I realized that the only way to do that was at that time was with having a bachelor's degree or a higher education. So in 2018, I decided to go back to school, and I only had my associate, and I graduated in 2020. Bachelor's in sociology and cultural anthropology from St. Martin's University, and it's just been a great experience all this time with this group. I'm thankful how supportive everyone is here, and I just hope to keep helping in whatever I want. As my part-time or my volunteer time, I volunteer with the school district here in Lacey. I live in Lacey, and what we do is we just want to contribute to have a more equitable public education. So we are working on that, and also my goal is to create a program in the high schools, which I believe there's some of them, but it needs to be more work done where we can have our students, Latino students, get ready for college. So that's the goal that we're working right now, is just creating that and finding those resources so we can help the students and navigate the higher education, because it's really hard. It's really hard to do, and just contributing to that, it's something that I really love. So I think that's it.
Thank you, Martha. Yeah, and so that's a great goal. I'll say I don't know much yet to share, but I think in November there might be an event that I want to figure out how we can partner with the Hispanic Roundtable to support the Latinx Youth Summit. So I think they're going to be doing it in November, from what I've heard. I'm going to go back a step, if I can make the PowerPoint work for me. Hold on one second, Nancy. I saw Monica sneak in, so I'm gonna tag her to say hello and introduce herself to the group. Monica, I read your bio, but you're a lot more personable than me reading it.
That's really sweet of you to say. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Had to go pick up the kiddos, and that was a new trip for me in Washington. So it took a little longer than I thought, but I'm here. It's all about finding that balance. So yes, I'm Monica Andrade Hupp. I've been with LLN for over a year now, and I'm really loving it. Such a wonderful community and wonderful place to share our culture and meet new people. And I think we're really excited about what we have in store for the year ahead. And we're looking forward to ideas, and we're looking forward to meeting new members and creating a larger family, larger community for everyone. Most importantly, our Hispanic Heritage Month celebration coming up in September and October. So please, be on the lookout for updates on that. And if you have ideas or you want to come join us in the planning efforts, please feel free to send us a message and let us know. We're here for you, and we want to make sure that we're serving all of the needs that you may have within what we can accomplish in this year, and then beyond that. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today, and I look forward to meeting more of you and hearing from all of you, and making sure that your voices are elevated in this space. So thank you for coming. Tony, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, and I'm going to turn it over to Nancy. Nancy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy Gutierrez, and I am the Lln Communications Director. I just thought I was volunteering doing communication stuff, and next thing you know, they're like, you're the director. So that's how I got that title. But at my regular job, I serve as the communications administrator for the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. I guess a little bit about myself. Like prior to joining the public sector, I worked as a reporter. I'm originally from Southern California, so that really exposed me to just seeing, the racial inequities and injustices. And so I reported about some toxic emissions that were affecting predominantly Latino communities. And so I was doing ongoing coverage of that, and it garnered recognition because soon after there was some kind of environmental issue in a very predominantly white, high income community. And so it was really interesting to see the disparities between the responses from leadership all the way to the governor to that community versus the Latino communities of like East LA and Boyle Heights. And so that really exposed me to that and the connection of state government and involvement. And so, and yeah, like I said, Southern California. So my bachelor's in broadcast journalism is from USC, University of Southern California. And I got my master's recently from the Washington State, from Washington State University in strategic communications. And I guess my goal for LLN is really to start to elevate the communications and look at ways to best reach audiences. And I think coming up with real actual like comms communication campaigns for LLN. And I guess one last thing. Oh, thanks. One last thing is that as I started working for Washington State, as I've been going up, in the chain of command, you see less and less Latinos in the room. So it's really important to see more Latino leaders because you definitely see less of them. And I love that quote of like, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And that's always stuck with me. It's like, you need to be at the table or else other people are making decisions for you. So that's like my main, cool. My main motivation.
Thank you, Nancy. I'll share with the group. I don't remember. It seems like forever ago, but not really that long ago. When one of the LLN board meetings, I remember looking around the room and thinking to myself, this is the first meeting I've ever been in where, number one, it's all Latinos in the room around the table, and it's all Latinos in these leadership type positions. And like, that was something that like still hits me to this day, where like driving home, like, that it was both a feeling of like, how is it taken, 40 years or whatever time was to get to that point, but like how like amazement at how long it had taken for me to have that experience, and then also just gratitude for the group and the leaders that brought it together, like Alfie and our chairs and co-chair at the time, Juan and Marlene. So it is a unique opportunity. I'm going to turn it over now to I'm going to ignore that Go Cougs statement from Nancy. I'm kidding. And
I have conflicting issues when football season comes in,
and Monica is going to talk about our new membership coordinator, Vanessa.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, it is my pleasure to introduce Vanessa Rojas. She could not be here with us today, but I will be happy to read a bit of her bio. Vanessa is a first-generation college graduate with a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in public health. She was born in Lima, Peru, and she immigrated to Miami, Florida at a young age. She started her career in the public health sector at the Florida Department of Health as a senior health educator, focusing on ending the HIV epidemic. And she's also served as the government chair for, I'm gonna butcher pronouncing this, Inactiva Hispania, a collaborative group of community partners formed to reduce the incident rates of HIV and AIDS. She joined Washington State Department of Health in November of 2020 as the Community Engagement Specialist in the Public Health Outbreak Coordination Informatics and Surveillance Office, otherwise known as FOCUS. Vanessa is passionate about connecting underserved communities to information and resources needed to make behavioral changes and improve health inequities. Vanessa is now the new chair for the Membership and Outreach Committee, and she strives to promote LLN at various state agencies and expand on the networking opportunities for us, both professional growth and personal growth as well. And Vanessa is celebrating her Peruvian heritage by upholding family traditions, dancing salsa, and cooking famous Peruvian dishes like ceviche and lomo saltado. Did I say that correctly? I hope so. On a personal note, and because she's not here to stop me, I also would like to share what a talented individual Vanessa is. I find her very well organized, and she has a head for planning, and she's very fun to talk to and just a great person to get to know on a personal level. So if you ever have an opportunity to be in a meeting space with Vanessa, please feel free to reach out or send her a chat or say hello. She's very, very social, and she's very happy to meet new people, and she very much loves the culture and celebrating her heritage. So we're very happy to have her join our board and be outreaching to new potential members. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, thank you, Monica. I appreciate the break and getting to stop talking for a minute. Okay,
so it was my turn to try to pronounce things.
So next we have Indira Melgarejo, and I hope Indira is ready to just say hi for a moment. Indira's, are you there, Indira?
Yes, hi.
Okay.
Thank you, Tony. So yeah, my name is Indira Melgarejo. I use she, her, or ella pronouns. And I work for the Office of Financial Management as the Business Resource Group Coordinator, which is a fairly new job, a position within the state that was launched last year after the Executive Order 2101 was signed. And we exist, or this position is to support the BRGs to do all this awesome work that you all do for the state. So that's what I do with the board of LLN, just advise, among other things, serve as a liaison between the business resource group and state HR leadership. And a little bit about me. I moved to the US about 4 years ago, and I started working with the state in 2019. So, and before even starting with the state, I started joining LLN, and I started volunteer with LLN. LLN was my first group that I joined, and then I volunteered my time. Before that, in Venezuela, where I'm from, I worked for over a decade as a university professor and in private practice as a clinical child psychologist. So I hold a bachelor in psychology and a master in science in clinical psychology from Rafael Urdaneta University, Venezuela. I cannot translate that part, right? The way that I celebrate my heritage, besides it includes dancing to Caribbean music, playing the cuatro, and cuatro, my national instrument. It doesn't matter what Manny might say there about Puerto Rican, it's a different instrument. And I also enjoy, Washington State and the beauty that it has to do outdoor activities, which I enjoy doing with my husband and my kid. So thank you. Back to you, Tony.
Well, thank you, Indira. If I can just brag about Indira for a moment, she's done a ton with the Latino Leadership Network. I mean, she started coming to meetings before she even worked with the state, and she was our first wellness coordinator and did a bunch of hikes and other wellness challenges, as well as she helped establish a lot of our work around membership and outreach. So she's had a big impact with the group. All right, and then so now I'm going to turn it back to Monica to talk a little bit about our admin.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, unfortunately, Noemi couldn't join us today, so I'll be sharing her bio as well. Noemi Solorzano Thompson is the first generation American daughter of a Mexican mother and a Nicaraguan father. She is currently the Human Resources Liaison and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Program Manager for the Washington State Department of Services for the Blind. Before DSB, she was a DEI learning, design, and delivery professional with the Department of Enterprise Services, where she collaborated in the creation of inclusion and belonging trainings and professional development opportunities for Washington state workers. Prior to state service, Noemi worked in her higher education for 17 years, where she led intersectional inclusion initiatives and taught courses on Hispanic literatures and cultures. Since February of this year, Noemi serves as the admin for the Latino Leadership Network and is also an active member of other BRGs, including RAIN and DIN, those two additional BRGs. Noemi and her spouse are the proud guardians of a rescue dog, Celie, who loves running on the beach. Noemi also loves to talk about movies, all of them, from world cinema to art house to Marvel CU. So she's very well-rounded in the movie spectrum. And we couldn't be happier or more proud to have her on our team. She has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we learn a lot from her when she shares in our meetings. So also glad to have her as a guardian for this group as well. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Monica. Okay, so next up are Jovita and then Steve. Okay, and I think Jovita was not feeling well today, so I think I don't see her at the moment. So okay, so I'm going to read her bio. We're gonna pivot. Jovita Ramirez is an experienced senior administrative assistant with vast experience in the medical and law enforcement fields. Her career spans more than 22 years in state service. Her mission in life has been to empower the underprivileged and help her local community. She shares her culture to counteract myths and labels to help people understand that we are not very different. Throughout her career, Jovita has worked to bring more diversity into the medical and law enforcement fields, as well as state employment. Jovita's favorite ways of celebrating her Mexican heritage are through her cooking, Mexican music, and supporting nonprofits that maintain and protect the Mexican Latino culture. She's a supporter of arts, dance, music, and theater activities that promote multicultures and cultural knowledge. So, and you can get to know Jovita more in the DEI committee meetings, which I'm sure Steve will talk a bit about as well. And I did see Steve in the participants list, so, and earlier as we were kicking the meeting off. So I'm going to turn it over to you now, Steve.
Thanks, Tony. Steve Kammer here. As I'm still recovering a little bit from being sick, and I fully embrace decentering whiteness, I will keep my talk short. I am currently with Lln as a talent management recruiter, formerly of DES. A couple people here from DES. Hello, hello, hello. I started with Lln in 2019. I reached out to Marlene, the then chair, and said, "How can I help?" She said, "Well, you can do this or you can do that." I said, "But I want to help as much as I can." So I've been with Lln since then. I like to think of myself as can-do attitude. Just jump in as wherever I can. 1,000,000% believe in the D, the E, the I, and then also the B, the belonging. As Tony said earlier, we're striving for 13% representation in the state of Washington for Latinos and in leadership. And that day will come, not today, not tomorrow, but it will come. So I'm 1,000,000% behind everything we do here at Lln, and also in the committee, the DEI committee. I'm from Yakima, Washington. I got to see a lot of inequity there growing up, being a white person, hearing white people, the way they talk, the way they treat Latinos there. I think that shaped a lot of who I am today. I attended college in the South in Tennessee, and then did my graduate work in New Mexico. Anything else I want to say? I'm happy to see so many people here today. We're nearing 50 people, and in our DEI committee, we have a nice big group there, but we're always looking for more people. And the heritage question, I wanted to share with y'all what I had for lunch today, because it's going to make people scratch their head. So the way I like to practice my heritage is to blend mine with others. So my lunch today was a tortilla with cotija cheese, spinach, mayonnaise, hot sauce, bacon, and tomatoes. So there we go. That's all I got for today. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. I want to compliment both Jovita and Steve for the work that they've done in establishing the DEI committee. I've able to attend meetings as my schedule allows, and it's always a very engaged group. I think it's a good space for the team to ask questions or learn and grow together, and they put together some really amazing events for some of our membership meetings or lunch and learns. And I think Jovita and Steve are really good role models in terms of, like, if you have passion, if you have energy and ideas, you can really put it to work for the group and help us, again, create a more inclusive community, provide opportunities for learning and growth, and then, you know, challenge yourself to learn and grow as well. And you know, we act as resources for each other as a team to help each other learn and grow as we do this work as well. So you don't have to show up knowing how to do everything. We can figure it out together. So yeah, so I really appreciate the work Jovita and Steve have done. Okay, and oh, Steve, you answered it's NMSU. I don't know what that stands for, but
New Mexico State University in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Okay. Whew. Okay, so we wanted to touch, because we're talking a lot about today about, you know, we've done our introductions and we want to provide opportunity and experience for you all to participate if it suits your passion and capacity. And part of that is you know, making it safe. I think is how I think of it. Making it so that when you come to meetings, you don't have to worry about what is your boss going to think, what are you going to get in trouble for it, those sorts of things. And so we wanted to provide a little bit of space on how to talk to your supervisor about participating in LLN. I'll share that when I started, we mainly had lunch and learn events. And so, you know, I would leave about 10 minutes, 15 minutes before my lunch break, because I have to drive down to the Lln building, which is where most of our events were back in the day. And then, you know, leave about 10 minutes before the event ended so I could get back to work on time, because I was worried about, you know, appearances, and BRGs weren't a thing necessarily the way they are back then. And since that time, we have more business resource groups. We have so there's a lot more opportunities to participate, and with that and the help of OFM and folks like Indira, we have developed a BRG participation policy, and the governor has made it clear in an executive order, and OFM's made it clear with a BRG participation policy, that these groups provide real value to the state and our communities, and that we help make services better. And so participation is open to all state employees and considered a leadership priority. This is an opportunity for growth. This is how we build build each other up. And you can be involved in many different levels. That might just mean coming to our meetings. That might mean you want to step in and help with the project or step into a leadership role. And with all of that, supervisors are encouraged to meet with you to figure out how do we make this work and fit in with your schedule and the needs of our business, so that you can still have that time. And so that means that, you know, you shouldn't be required to take vacation leave to come to events or meetings, or come to the Zoom meeting. It means that, you know, if somebody else in your team is participating, you know, there isn't a quota, so other people can participate as well. But I'll say that sometimes it can be tricky having these conversations with your supervisor. I see, oh, Ms. Ozzy's helped us out. Thank you, Ms. Ozzy, for posting the participation policy and frequently asked questions. I was just gonna ask for help from that. So Ms. Ozzy, being the amazing multi-BRG member, has shared in the chat some very helpful information. I would encourage you to consult it on frequently asked questions around participation. I will tell you, I recommend, depending on which level you want to participate, it's good to have a conversation with your boss around what this looks like, and that way, again, you can have that safety so that you know you're not sneaking out to do some illicit activity. You have approval to be here, and that your supervisor hopefully understands that means that you are growing, and in your own growth, you are probably going to be helping your team as you grow as a leader and build your skills. So for me, and I'll ask the team to chime in with their own thoughts and experiences. For me, I've tried to do two things. One is, you know, again, first have the conversation with my boss around, you know, number one, not everybody has understanding or awareness of what the business resource groups are. So having a conversation about what these groups are and how they help the state overall and all agencies. And then number two, kind of helping explain, like I said, how participating in this will help build my skills, my experience, and awareness of maybe what's even going on at other agencies, so I can bring back learnings to my team and my agency. And then a conversation about quantifying what this looks like. I think as a supervisor, you know, you want to know, like, what is it you're committing to so that you can support your team member, and understanding how much capacity this might be taking, or like how much time that might look like, and getting an agreement together on what fits with the actual business work and the stuff we're doing in our day jobs, so that, you know, your supervisor can have a good understanding of how much time you're dedicating to this work. And that might mean a bit of negotiation. We've done previous stuff about negotiation, so we might be able to help you with that. But being clear, you know, hey, it might look like an hour a week, or you know, 2 hours a month. You know, kind of getting it down to how much time are you spending on it, because that's oftentimes a concern for supervisors. And then once you have all that conversation, write it down and then send it to your supervisor to say, hey, as we discussed on X date, you know, I'm going to be participating in LLN, and we expect it to be about this much time per month or per week. You know, please acknowledge that you received this, because you always want to get stuff in writing, and that way, if something comes up, you can be clear that no, this is something you both agreed to, and then what the details were in that agreement. Because again, we don't want to put you at risk in your employment. You know, your day job is still important, and we want to make sure that you can feed your family and you know, pay your rent and all those fun things, or mortgage. So those are my thoughts and experiences and tips. It's something too, I will say, if you need to have a conversation or want coaching on how to have those conversations, please reach out, and I'm happy to make that time as well. I'm going to tag it to the rest of the team though. Do y'all have any tips on how to talk to your boss? Because we've all had these conversations.
Yeah, I'm happy to share my experience because my boss is actually here today. And I think that's a really good approach, is to also invite your supervisors, invite your managers. LLN is open to everyone, and it helps give them an idea of what we do here and why this is important for us for so many reasons. So my supervisor, manager, what have you, the person I report to thoroughly invests and supports my growth. And part of that growth is my need to support my culture, my heritage, as well as the DEI initiatives that we like to support and try to influence with LLN. So invite them to the space, utilize the FAQ, the frequently asked questions that Ms. Ozzie shared in the chat. And like Tony said, we're here to help you. So if you need some guidance or just want some advice on how to approach the conversation, we're happy to help you. And if accessing us during business hours is a challenge for you, let us know how we can help. I'm happy to meet with people during the lunch hour. I'm happy to take, a meeting here and there after hours if that can help accommodate you and get you the information and support that you need. So please feel free to reach out to us and let us know. Maybe your day job doesn't allow you to step away for that type of connection with our network, but we'd like to find other ways that we can help you participate and become a more involved member, and at least make sure that we're providing support and guidance to you as needed. So thank you for letting me share. I'll pass it along to anyone else that might want to open up.
Okay, I think that's enough awkward silence. We can then again though, if you have questions, if you want to talk to somebody about how to gain that buy-in, please reach out. It can be kind of scary, but oftentimes once you've had that conversation, it's a lot less scary to go to meetings or participate in the future, and that's really important. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the different committees and projects we have going on, because we have lots of opportunities to participate. So with Monica and I moving into the chair and co-chair position, we have a couple of vacancies, and then we have a couple of vacancies from, Indira becoming the business resource group manager. And then we have some new things that we would like help with. So in terms of committees, we have health and wellness lead. We have events and conferences, and we have the best practices committee. So I'll go first with best practices because that was a group that I helped establish. And this is a team that is really looking at what are the policies or processes out there that might be impacting Latino state employees, and how can we develop information or recommendations to address disparities, or maybe to help the state become a more inclusive employer or employer of choice for Latinos. In the past, we have done the professional development and inclusion survey and report. We've had guest speakers come to talk about their experience in doing policy work or performance work with the state, and it's a group that typically meets once a month, and some smart people I come too. Yeah, so it's a group. It's something where I would love to. I want to still continue going to these meetings, but in terms of like organizing it and figuring out kind of what the group takes on, realistically, I don't think I can do that and be the chair. So we have an opening in that space. So yes, Rossi, we will talk on the social media link in just a moment. Monica, would you mind talking about the events and conferences role?
Sure, absolutely. It's exactly this, helping us put on our general meetings, helping us decide on content for the year, helping us put together professional development opportunities, as well as ways that we can embrace our culture, ways that we can expand into other sectors. Diversity, equity, inclusion is important for so many of us. So events and conferences has to be somewhat well-rounded. It isn't necessarily one note, right? So we definitely would love to have somebody that has maybe a desire to organize small projects or has a previous experience with events that would like to deepen that experience and gain some more leadership experience as well. I keep using the word experience over and over. It's the only word stuck in my head right now. But because it's been a great experience for me, and we're also looking forward to, extending ways that we can enhance our own growth, our career growth, our professional growth, and our personal growth in this area. So events and conferences sounds kind of big, but it really isn't. It's helping us decide on our content and then putting that into motion. So if you're curious, or maybe you feel like you would like to help, but you don't have the bandwidth, just reach out anyways. We can find small ways for people to help carry a large piece of the puzzle for us. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to take on any one-on-one meetings if anybody wants to have like a meet to learn or just to chat. No pressure. We definitely won't sneak you into a position like maybe we did to Nancy. But we welcome any questions that you might have. I'll pass it back to Tony.
And then Indira, do you mind if I ask you, because you previously were health and wellness lead for that committee, would you mind talking a little bit about that?
Absolutely, Tony. And I do want to acknowledge the first person that led the health and wellness was Monica Hand, which I believe is also in the room, right? And then, so the health and wellness subcommittee or group, or what we, one of the reasons why this was created was when LLN was launched as a business resource group. There was an ask, right, from the survey of participants, letting us know that folks wanted to do activities related to, how to manage stress, how to, deal with keeping our heritage, but also, keeping the wellness and the health that sometimes, the tacos and the churros and the chicha might not be very helpful sometimes, to keep that balanced diet, So based on that necessity from folks that existed to our events, then we created and designed different activities throughout the day to create a sense of community through, doing exercise, wellness exercise. There is a self-guided meditation coming soon in this month. But also how to take care of ourselves and how to take care of ourselves from the perspective of decolonizing experience and not only centering in the whiteness experience, right? And there is a YouTube, in the LLN YouTube channel, a webinar about how to do self-care from the perspective of the Latino community. And then we do collaborations with parks and to create guided hikes, and that encounter also with the nature and explore the beautiful parks available within our state. So I hope that, triggers some curiosity from some of you.
Thank you, Indira. Hi, Vero. I'm sorry, lo siento, I didn't see you join the meeting. Is there anything you would like to add as the first health and wellness committee leader? It's okay if
Don't
you don't.
worry, Tony. Yes, I'm sharing my camera now. Hi, everybody. No, I think Indira covered very well. Our focus was to help our Latino state employees and allies with different types of health and wellness topics. So we did a few workshops. One was where we invited some guests to teach us how to meditate. We organized another one on mindfulness. We did a couple of workshops with Thrive at Work. So those are like really the main activities that we were doing back then. And actually, if you would still be interested in conducting one of these workshops again, I could reach out to those people who helped us, because they gave us the workshops for free. The one on learning how to meditate was very, very interesting. And we unfortunately had very low participation, and they came from Seattle actually to give us the workshop. But they were always very supportive, and they said that if we wanted them to come back, that they would come back. So we want to keep them in mind for the near future. Whenever you have the new person leading this committee, I would gladly support if that's an interest.
Thank you. It's good to see you, Vera.
Yeah, I'll stay here if there's any other question.
Okay. So we also are looking for help with social media, specifically at the moment LinkedIn, where we do things like job postings or highlighting other events or groups in the Latino communities. So that's something where we recognize we have a need and would appreciate some help there. We are also looking for help with graphic design. So if you have experience in doing graphic design, we'd love to redo our newsletter, give it a bit of a facelift. But there are also things like, for like events, flyers, something with a little visual flair. So that's another area where we're looking for help, and I'd appreciate if anybody has interest. Noemi has posted in the chat our contact information, which is lln@ofm.wa.gov. These are roles. So I want to share with you, these are roles that can be right-sized to your capacity or your capabilities, and that if not all of us have necessarily like a lot of time or flexibility, but what time and flexibility you have to participate, we can figure out how to make this work. So if it's something where you only have a couple hours a month, hey, that's okay. We can figure out how to make that work for you. That's part of the role that Monica and I play is chair and co-chair, is how to help make this work manageable, how to make clear kind of what the group's goals are and how you can contribute to them. So, based on what you want to do, if you want to lead a committee and meet every other month or quarterly, because that's what you can manage, hey, great. We'll figure out how to make that work, and we'll figure out how to promote what you're doing, try and find you resources to support you, and then again, try to advertise it so that other people that are interested in what you want to do, that way we can bring people together, because we don't want this being one person trying to lift the whole world. Our goal is to do this together, because that's number one, how we do more, and then number two, how we build each other up and really fill that role of providing professional development and experience. I will tell you, LLN for me has meant a lot of opportunities to take on leadership that didn't exist in my day job. And so that's meant, when I've had an interview, I now have something to draw on when I get that leadership question or that supervisory experience kind of a question. That is a really tough hurdle to get over for a lot of us, because we don't necessarily have those opportunities to really lead in a formal setting. And this could be your opportunity to get that experience. And we want to provide that, and provide those things like references and other stuff for you as well in doing that, because I know there are a lot of great leaders out there. So yeah, and I'll say, if you come in and you step into one of those roles, hey, I'm happy to do a reference for you as well. I'm pretty good at it. I don't think I'm quite batting 1,000 on my references for getting people jobs, but it's a pretty high percentage. So I'm signing up for that.
Tony, we're already syncing up with our Bluetooth brain. I was thinking the same thing. Think of us all as potential references when you come in to do this work. We want to make this a tangible experience for you as well. Professional growth, like I mentioned before, is an important step for us, and we don't always have access to that experience in our roles. For me, diversity, equity, and inclusion is a big passion project for me, but I don't always get to touch that in my day job. So I'd like to get that experience here and make sure I'm supporting the issues that I'm passionate about through this group. And it's also serving us in a different way. So we do have a lot of things in our imagination pan right now for how we can further support professional development for our members, how we can help validate some of your skill set, how we can make your skill set more accessible to other agencies and other people that might be looking for more diverse hiring outlets. So please stay tuned for those as we try to develop them throughout this year, and then hopefully kick off something really great for us in the beginning of 2023. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, and then I think we're moving.
Tony, can I say something else?
Yes, please.
Okay, no, I just wanted also to say that it gives us a great sense of belonging, being part of a BRG, or at least that's what I experienced, because we make a lot of friendships. We're co-workers, we're colleagues, but we also become a big family. And that gives us a lot of a big sense of belonging. And we make very good friendships, not only within, in my experience, it wasn't just within LLN, but also with other BRGs. And it's very, very fulfilling. Especially, for example, in my case, I just moved here not too long ago with my son, new to state government. So I feel like I'm not alone because of my colleagues and friends with BRGs. And when you were mentioning that you see the professional development, that's also something that has made me very, very happy, because I've been able to see how such amazing people, like, for example, Indira, who moved here only 3 or 4 years ago, to see her start working at the state and getting one job and then another, and then the one that she has right now. I'm super happy and proud of her, and she knows that. I've told her that. But just being able to celebrate those success stories with our friends, our family, or Maria Sigüenza when she started joining CHA, those are like super, super special things that happen in our lives. And I just wanted to mention that it's also a very big part of why I want to continue being part of LLN and other BRGs and helping.
Thank you, Vera. So we're now at the stage where if you all have questions, we wanted to provide some space for question and answer session. I realize this is a little bit different than our normal meetings, where we have maybe a speaker and focus on some of those professional development pieces. But since we're starting a new leadership term, we wanted to talk about kind of how the group works and those opportunities.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I'm new here. I'm actually a DHS Oregon employee, and I have a bunch of ideas that they've been working here in Oregon. And a lady that it works in Washington was the one who invited me. And since we're all in this together, that's why I'm here. I have a cultural differences presentation, and it got my attention that the is LNN meeting, the group, but as Hispanics, we don't use that much acronyms. Our nonprofits, they are just full names. We combine names. We like the full names. We don't use nicknames. So I was, that caught my attention. Ours is mi gente. We don't even have one full word. We have two. So anyway, so there are just a bunch of differences that we have, and like processes, manual. We weren't born with that. I'm from Venezuela. I've been living over here for 24 years, and I left my country when I was 24 years. So I'm 49 years old. And I think it's going to be very powerful if we start seeing those things. Let's say we don't say the word "I love you." We don't say "te amo" in Spanish to everybody. We don't even say it to our parents because we're so passionate and so embracing that in emotions that it would be so painful to see our parents die if we say them "I love you," per se. And there are many others that I didn't know, but now I know. And I'm able to share that. And that is really helpful. So for example, hello, Alicia. She's the lady who invited me. Then I have, we done here biographies, which is how we overcome our situations when we came to the United States. Because not everybody knows that the state as a refugee or immigrant. I mean, when I came over here, I came with a tourist visa with $200. I was in a refugee. I wish I would have the budget, and they gave it to me, but they didn't. So those, I mean, is how we lived over there and what it was taken away from us. And it's not easy to have a passport nowadays. And those kind of sense of like, what did I did? Why did I leave my country? What it drew me to the public sector? How did I help my community to be more diverse? My agency to be more diverse? The learning styles, the approach. After like 5 years ago, I would love to interrupt. Now I don't like to have anybody to interrupt me because I know the importance. Because probably with my family and my friends, nothing makes much sense when we're all together. But at work, we have to follow an agenda. And we have to raise our hands. I've been working for DHS for 15 years. So anyway, so I would love to present that and start from there. I think we need more media because it's not just Mexico. We have South America, Spain, the Caribbean islands. We have from mariachis to bolero, to samba, bossa nova, salsa, merengue, and probably some of the people that is over here doesn't even know the difference. So we can put a poll on YouTube to see what is the difference in between and make it more engaging. So there are many ideas that I have. Anyway, so I'm here for you guys. Anyway, I will go ahead and put my email. If you would like to contact me, we can talk about it. I know that this meeting is until 5, but I don't want to take much of your time. It's a pleasure to meet you guys all and that we're doing this together. Thank you.
And this is me being a dad and doing the refit, but I'm excited. Thank you. And I'm sorry, it just says A. Greenwald.
Emma Greenwald, yes.
Thank you, Emma.
You're welcome.
Oh, and I'm so yes, we'll give us your information and we can talk about potential, future meetings. So it would be great to have you as a speaker then. And I think you bring up a really good point too, in that
Let's make videos, let's make music, let's say what we came here for. Let's say what we had in our past, why we came over here, and the opportunities that they were giving away and taking away from us. Because that's what is important. That's what is equity. It is opportunities for everybody, and how we're going to give that. And what is that process, and what is that referral, and what is that support service that is, it is so vast. It's the same, I bet it's the same in Washington and Oregon. The situation. Some of us, we went a little bit further and went to Washington, but some of us were here. And I don't even know, when I say Oregon, where's Oregon? Oh, it's by Seattle. Oh, Eddie Vedder. Okay, there you go. I know where it is. But other than that, yeah, the ERG groups for us is an oxygen in this humongous box. That's what ERGs are for, the employment resource groups. That's where we can make an agenda and make it fun for what we know, for what we had, and for what the barriers that we have, the obstacles that we have, but make it fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So what other questions do y'all have? Doesn't have to be just for me either. We have the group.
I don't have a question. I have a thing. Can you see me?
Yes. Hi, Gustavo.
Okay. Hi. I don't know the person's name. What I'm trying to tell you is I've been in government for almost 11 years and only been in government 2 years in Washington, but I was in Oregon as well. And I think what she's saying is so important when it comes to creating that space, because I think a lot of agencies, they talk about, diversity, inclusion, but they don't create the space really to foster that growth, even among them. So it's a lot harder for an immigrant. So anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, if I can help with anything, I also will be able to help. I'll put my information there. I have worked mostly web content, some videography, some graphic design, and I have done some commercials and campaigns, like marketing campaigns in Spanish. And because I also came, I went to college in Mexico and as well as in the United States. So I'm able to do like Spanish a little bit, like college kind of thing. Like I could be really good at reading, writing, and speaking. So anyway, the point is I can help you out if I can help you out, and I will send my information and then I'll talk to my boss about it. So anything we can do. Okay, graphic design, I'm okay with that too. So thank you.
Sorry, I forgot I was still sharing my screen. So now you all can see each other, hopefully a little bit better as well. As I mentioned, we have our different committees. So coming up on July 14th, we have our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee meeting at 3 p.m. Please contact either Jovita or Steve on how to participate. We currently have a best practices meeting scheduled, but I'm going to be canceling it because I will be out of the country. So we won't have a best practices meeting for July unless somebody steps in and really wants to take it and run with it. You got about a week and a half though to let me know and tell me what you want to be doing. But if you're interested in that, again, either please contact us at OFM email or email me at tgriego@dol.wa.gov. For events, please contact Monica if you're interested in that committee. Coming up at the end of the month, Thursday, July 28th, we are going to be having the self-guided imagery, which is a program that's actually going to be led in Spanish. It's in the chat as well. Melanie's providing some of the details. It'll be from 12 to 1 p.m. and you'll be able to join via the Zoom link. This is an exciting event because it's going to be mostly in Spanish, and that's a pretty unique opportunity, I think, for any events with the state. This is a first-time event for us. So yeah, Monica, is there anything you'd like to share with the group about the event? I feel like you'll do a better job of explaining it than me.
That's very kind of you. Yes, it's essentially just like a self-guided meditation, but what we love about it is that these presenters lead it in Espanol, which is something that we don't commonly get to hear in our workplace. So I do not speak Spanish. I'm trying really hard. I've been trying to learn the majority of my adult awake life. So it is lovely to be able to hear something led in a language that I'm not familiar with, but that I don't speak. And I think that we need more of that for more of that inclusion and belonging portion of DEI. And thank you, Steve, for reminding us that there is a B in DEI. And then also, you know, July is National Minority Mental Health Month. So July is the time that we should be reminding ourselves that we need to take care of mind and body. So please feel free to join us. I don't think that we will be recording that event. We can update as we get closer to, oh gosh, is that next week already? In 2 weeks. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will acknowledge there are many of us that you know, are not fluent in Spanish, which is part of the fun, apparently, of me doing the Loteria that was last December. Indira shared with me, and it's on my to-do list of things to sign up for, a group called Spanish Sin Pena, designed to help folks like us learn to be comfortable and confident speaking Spanish. I can understand a lot of the conversations, but then, you know, joining in is always a little bit awkward. So this is, I'm disappointed I won't be able to join this event, but hope we can host future events with the Spanish first approach. So thank you for setting that up, Monica. Okay, but our next Latino Leadership Network general meeting is going to be August 8th at 3 p.m. So that's a Tuesday at 3 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. If you're an old person like me and a nerd. If this is going to be more centered around professional development with speakers on lean or continuous improvement. As a selling point, I will most likely not be there because, again, I'll be out of country, so it'll be less Tony talking. You can get some other folks speaking as well, so you won't have to listen to me quite as much. If you have suggestions or ideas of events that we could host for our general membership meeting or any of our lunch and learns, please contact us again at the email. Or if you'd like to volunteer to speak or present like Emma did earlier, you know, we'd love to host you and figure that out together. Let's see. You can follow us on NeoGov, sign up for our newsletter. That's also where you'll get reminders about our events. You can follow us on LinkedIn, where we try to post recruitments or job openings for leadership positions or also bilingual Spanish positions. Those tend to be our two focuses. And then we also have a YouTube page where I think we need to get some of our previous events posted still, but you can access some of our previous membership meetings, including the one that Lolo Arevalo did on how to land that next state job. It's something I've referred to several times in terms of preparing for jobs and whatnot. And that's the end of the slideshow. So I'm again going to stop sharing the screen. The that's our program for today. Again, though, if you have questions or want to talk about specific opportunities, please let us know. One of the things that we're working on doing also is creating a certificate to show your participation. You can say, the official stamp of approval, put that on your resume, because it is important to be able to document this, your work and get credit for it as you're interviewing and applying for that next big job. So that is something we're working on. Again, if you want to help with it, please let us know.